1 2 1 2 in the place to be. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? I am Frank Red. This is another edition of the Dungeon Show. I want to thank you off the top for joining me in conversation. I am so excited to do this show. And I don't want to come off corny or pretentious, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Doing the show is one of the highlights of my week. And when you are in the content creation business, and I don't know if this is a business, it's more of the content creation hobby. That's what it is for me at this point. But you always ask, well, what is your why? Why do you do this stuff? And I enjoy doing it, number one. I've done it for a long period of time, had some success, but this is really important to me. This is the culmination of my week. I love the fact that for the people who support this show and offer comments, I know you by name. You know, I visualize what you look like. I follow your thinking. You know, we're connected in some way. For those of you who have reached out to me, you realize that that's how I am. I'm the same way off mic as I am on mic. So this is a relationship, and there's a responsibility, I think, on both ends to honor those relationships. So even when it gets tough or I got things going on, if I can show up and do this show and do it well or to the best of my ability, I want to do that because it's important. It's not about me. It's not about likes. It's not about subscription. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, you put a lot of work in and you know, you would want to have people feel what you do or reciprocate in some ways, but that's really not what it's all about. What it is, as a sports fan, going back to when I was a kid, you know, glazing at the television, looking at some of my childhood heroes, some who I realized when I became an adult or of age that they really wasn't heroes. They were people who did something very well that I admired, but they were not heroes. Some were, but some were not. But some were. And it was euphoric for me to be in a place where I actually got a chance to meet some of my heroes. Pretty incredible. So I want to be a conduit in some ways tonight and just kind of take you into a little bit of what my last 48 hours was. By the way, my name is Frank Red. Listen for the first time, this is the In the Dungeon Show. Hit the subscribe button, all right? Hit the like button if you dig it, all right? If you don't, you kind of test the waters and sit back and check me out, all right? Check us out, how about that? The past 48 hours, I took a red eye to the East Coast. Got an opportunity to scratch one of my bucket list items off. I went to the Basketball Hall of Fame ceremony last night. You know, after it was over, woke up like 3 o'clock in the morning, drove 80 miles to Boston, jumped on a plane, flew back out to the West Coast. Yeah, has been a lot of sleeping going on over the past 48 hours. I got a chance to get some, you know, a real nice nap, but it's been a whirlwind. But it's important to me. I'm giddy thinking about all the things I can share with you. But yeah, it was kind of cool. And yes, it was in Springfield, Massachusetts. And yeah, so we're going to get to that. I'm going to take you inside the after parties and who was there and all that good stuff. But I want to highlight Maya Moore. All of the speakers, all of the inductees, their speeches were excellent. You know, Dwight Howard was kind of doing his Dwight thing, kind of a goofball. You know, that's how he is. But the cool thing was there was a sincere embrace and bonding moment between he and Shaq. And that was really important. It was great to see people's parents, loved ones there, and we can talk about that. But I want to say, and I'll get into it a little later in the show, Maya Moore is unbelievable. Maya Moore is kind of like, when we were all kids, most, I'm going to say boys in general. I'm not going to say black or white. I'm not. Nah. Most young boys love Janet Jackson. All right. I gotta think there's a lot of young men out there who just really admire Maya Moore. She was not only literally one of the maybe 5 best women's basketball players of all time. To me, nobody like her, but her intellect, her perspective on the world, her humanity, her ability to always paint a brighter picture when it's gray and cloudy is truly inspirational. And that's one thing that I highlighted from the start in my mind. And yeah, just happy to see her go in with Sue Bird. That was great. My guy, Billy Donovan, went in. Bill was awesome. Carmelo Anthony was great. Dwight Howard. Might be somebody else. I can't remember who else. But I'm going to tell you this, though. There's only 2 people in basketball that have that he's in the building effect. Like Obama's in the building, like Michael Jordan's in the building, that type of persona. It's Stephen Curry and it's LeBron James. Even if you don't like LeBron, there's something about LeBron's aura, his presence. He has it. He really does. He's very charismatic. You know, he probably planned his entrance. Nobody knew he was there. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine what it's going to be like when LeBron goes into the Hall of Fame. That's going to be crazy. The only thing that could potentially match that is Stephen Curry. I don't care how old those guys are. They're still 2 very, very important players in the NBA. I don't care how young these guys are. Nah, LeBron and Steph bring an aura and a level of respect and excitement that nobody else brings. That's real. So we'll talk about that a little bit. So many people were there. I mean, the who's who of basketball was there. I'll get into the after parties a little bit. I went to the Florida after party, which was top show. USA Basketball had theirs. Everything was held at the Hall of Fame. Listen, I had no idea how incredible this place was. If you're a basketball fan and you find yourself on the East Coast, it's worth taking the drive up to Springfield. A magnificent facility. And there were some interesting things also that I'm going to reintroduce later on. But it was really, really cool. And I'm not BSing you. I couldn't wait to get back to share these moments, these experiences with you, because that was me as a kid. You know, the first time I saw Dr. J, Julius Irvin, who was in the building last night, and I'm really good friends with his nephew. He and I are like brothers. But to see Dr. J as a child and to know that he was a real person was extraordinary. Warrior fans, I'll tell you, Al Horford was in the building. I saw Al Horford with his son, and I didn't say anything to him, but I'm just thinking to myself, is this thing going to happen? Is he going to be a Warrior? It feels like he's going to be a Warrior. And so much gratitude. It's unbelievable. All right. San Francisco 49ers got off to a good start today. I saw some of the game. I'm not going to BS you until I watched the whole game. I did not. I was so tired. But I did see some of it. And Brock Purdy, I don't really worry about stats. I focus on, can you make a play when it counts? And Brock Purdy made the play when it counted most. That long pass to Ricky Pearsall. And a lot of folks out there think Ricky Pearsall is the number one receiver? Well, guess what? Maybe he is. I'm happy for the young man. And he came up big today, and that was great. So this is a game last year that the 49ers might lose, right? Seattle was kind of mucking around, and the 49ers were kind of slogging around, and they found a way to win a tough game on the road. 17-13. This is what I think some of their victories are going to look like. And that's okay with me, because this is how you win in the playoffs, to be quite honest with you. There were some injuries. To what extent, I don't know. But I was happy to see a defense flying around, making plays, and not making mistakes. Robert Saleh is essentially, to me, equivalent to signing a high-priced free agent in the offseason. That's what he brings to the table as a defensive coordinator. So they needed Robert Saleh bad. He makes average players look better, makes great players look really, really good. A D mentor was outstanding today. Fred Warner, Bosa, Green from Florida State looked pretty good. A lot of good contributions today. So if you're a 49er fan, the offense was a little muddy, but the toughness and the grindability of this team is reminiscent of some of those 49er teams that have had a lot of success in the past on in New Orleans. All right, they should handle them pretty good. The idea of the 49ers getting off to a 2-0 start and moving forward, I think, is exciting for their fans. So if you're a 49er fan, you want to talk about the game, we're going to have that conversation. NFL in general. You guys know how big a Mike Tomlin fan I am. And I'm watching on my phone the scores. I'm like, whoa, the Jets are up quite a bit. But I honestly think Mike Tomlin won't get his just due until he's standing at the podium about to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mean, do you know some people got Pittsburgh winning like 8 games this year? Really? The guy's never had a losing season. That's coaching. They were not going to lose to the Jets today. No way. The Jets, I don't care who the coach is, they find a way to lose. And Pittsburgh was not going to lose to the Jets. Pittsburgh's probably going to win 10, 11 games this year, maybe 12. And be in the mix of the playoffs. I'm going to say this, but for some of you who have never been 40, 40 is not that bad. I mean, for someone to think that Aaron Rodgers can't play football as long as he has a clean pocket, I'm like, do you really know sports? He's going to have a great year as long as he's clean. He's definitely an upgrade from Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. He puts them in the mix. DK Metcalf, voila. They got a stout defense. Pittsburgh's going to be a team to be reckoned with. And that's a tough division, but I think they're just going to beat each other up. Green Bay looked good, man. Michael Parsons. Remember we spent a week after Jerry Jones traded Michael Parsons to Green Bay, listening to him explain away why this was a good move for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not going to just kill the guy because it's his team. He can do whatever he wants to do. But you could not talk to me for an hour and tell me how trading your best player is actually good for your team. Even though your team goes out and plays a competitive game against the Eagles, you think they would not have been better if Michael Parsons was on the team? They didn't get anything. Well, I guess they got the defensive lineman. Was he really a factor? As well as Dallas played, don't you think they would have been better with Michael Parsons on the team? Ego, man. Ego's a big deal. The other thing that I noticed today that was kind of interesting to me, wasn't surprised, if the Raiders actually look like a football team. Pete Carroll, another guy who's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. I mean, Pete Carroll at 73 is as aware, as competitive, as any coach of any age. He brings a level of professionalism to the team. He has a presence. When young guys look at this guy, they go, "You're older than my grandfather." And he's out there running around, jumping, making calls, probably saying some bad words to people when they need it. Pete Carroll's very inspiring to me. He's the type of guy who I would love to play for. All right? And Geno Smith, you know what, man? That's the thing I love about sports. Geno Smith was cast to the side, never to return. He never gave up on himself. This guy worked his way back into what is an above average NFL career at this point, maybe more. Talking about a coming of age story. The Raiders in that division is tough. Tough. I got a chance to watch, I was in Springfield Friday night, the nice restaurant outside, nice breeze. And I watched the KC Charger game on my computer. Had a phenomenal time. I mentioned that because I'm a big Harbaugh guy. Harbaugh is just a straight up winner, man. He wins. So, there's a lot I want to talk about. I didn't realize I was able to retain so much about what's going on. I'm shocked that Sinner didn't win the U.S. Open. I can spend a lot of time on that, but to me, Yannick Sinner is the most talented tennis player I've ever seen, and yet he loses today. So, anyway, I got so much more to talk about. An incredible experience happened to me, but we can get into that a little later. I am excited to talk to the wonderful Vicky. How you doing, Vicky? She says, "Hi, friend. That Bills game was wow. The 49er game was okay. I think Purdy did okay. Clean up the interceptions. I'm so proud of the Valkaries. Now we have to see how they do in a series." Yeah, Vicky, you touched on a lot of points. One thing I'm disappointed about, and maybe it was a scheduling conflict, is that we had thought that if the Valkaries had to go somewhere else because of a scheduling conflict at Chase, they might play their first playoff game in Oakland. They're going to play it at the SAP Center in San Jose. When I think about it, I'm not surprised. It's kind of par for the course. I don't think that well, I'm not going to say that because the Warriors have had a tremendous relationship with the city of Oakland. Still has one, and maybe it was a scheduling conflict. But I wish that they would have played in Oakland because I'm around the city. I walk around the city. I talk to Valkyrie fans. I'm in bars. The majority of their fans are in San Francisco and the East Bay. They're not in San Jose. I'm not saying they don't have any fans. I would love for somebody to listen to the program that can tell me that they drive up or they take the train up to San Francisco who live in San Jose. I'm not saying they don't have fans in San Jose. I'm sure they do. But a large swath of the Valkyries fans are in San Francisco and in the East Bay. Doesn't mean that they don't have them in San Jose or in the South Bay. But I wanted to see some of that Golden State Oaktown magic rub off on the Valkyries. But yes, I'm interested to see how they perform in a series. With regards to the 49ers, I'm just happy that they won. These are the types of games that they have lost, that they would have lost last year. So a win is a win in the NFL. You know it's going to be close, and they found a way to get it done. Brock Purdy made the play when he needed to. Andrew to go says, not the way I was hoping the Patriots would start off the season, losing to the Raiders. Well, give the Raiders some credit. The Raiders are good. The Raiders are well coached now in ways that they haven't been over the past, decade or so, or since Gruden was shown the door. So this is a different Raider team. They also drafted the right player and Genty. He's tough. He's like a little missile. You can't really put your hands on him. He has tremendous acceleration. He's going to bust a couple of runs this year. The wide receiving core is not great, but they got two fantastic tight ends. So, Raiders are a good team. The Raiders are not going to be good this year. They're going to be mid. Well, I disagree with you. They have a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, and they got a Hall of Fame coach. They got a Pro Bowl defensive lineman. You know, they got some of the best tight ends in football. Papa Jones, that's up, Red. God bless Big Man. Go Niners. Yeah, man. I mean, you know what? To me, it's unfathomable to think that they could go to New Orleans and lose against the Saints. I don't think it's going to happen, but you can't sleep on them. You cannot. Every game is a game unto itself, and you know, the 49ers have been pretty good historically about taking care of business. They have some injuries. To what extent that will play a factor, I don't know yet, but I expect them to win. TG says, yes, sir. Voice of the week. Love, Frank. I appreciate you. Bebop Jones says, I went to Springfield. Did you really? What was your experience, Bebop? I was blown away. That facility, and they digitized a lot of stuff also since the pandemic, because one of the questions that I had when I was there, I was like, are they concerned with running out of room, running out of space as we evolve as basketball fans? And they talked about how they had, during the pandemic, done a lot of stuff to modernize the experience. One of the things that really gets your juices flowing is they have a theater at the Hall of Fame. And, you know, they give you like an 8 to like 12-minute video of the history of the NBA, all the great players, everybody, Stephen, Larry Bird, Ron, Michael Jordan, everybody. And the cool thing that I like, and as somebody who's, you know, I'm a big guy, there's tremendous leg room because they're basketball players. They got tremendous leg room. It's an incredible experience that gets you flowing before you go out into all the exhibits. But watching that film was kind of cool as well. Bebop says, I saw Lisa Leslie's shoes in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, everybody's shoes in it. It's pretty incredible. I cried when I visited the Hall of Fame. Crazy. It's emotional. It's very emotional. I was dazed. You know, it took me back to an 8-year-old kid. You know, they do a really good job creating that experience. So good for you, man. Everybody needs a good cry every now and then. I took 100 pictures. Playoff style winning. Yep, you're talking about the 49ers. Yes, sir. My man Keys says Salah was the Niners' biggest offseason addition, no doubt. He is a defensive version of Shanny. He's really good. And the thing about him is his players want to play for him. You know, he puts his players in positions to have success, and he holds them accountable. That's coaching. Nick should trade Cat and Hart. Well, Badger, I don't have a problem with you saying that, but who are you going to trade him for? Thinking Giannis? Is that what you're thinking? You know, I mean, Giannis is the only person who you would trade Cat for. Give me another name if you have one. I'm not the biggest Cat fan. I'm not. I'm more of a Cat, the person fan. You know, I admire him as a person. Knowing what that young man had to go through during COVID, losing his mom, who was his hero, and still finding a way to move forward. I will always be connected with Cat from an emotional perspective because I love my mother. Fortunately, my mom's still here. But he's a young guy, man. I mean, to amass that type of wealth and acclaim, and then not have her here to share it with has to be tough on him. And I just admire that he's been able to, continue on. His dad is here as well. Now, Cat, the basketball player, way too talented to play as non-aggressively as he does. I was going to use another word. I'm not going to use that word. He's too talented to play as non-physical as he plays. I mean, people go at him. Average offensive players go through Cat at times. I'm like, dude, okay, you can score, he can make a big shot, but defensively, he's atrocious. To be 7 feet in the prime of your life, athletic like that, and not dominate people defensively. I'm looking at Joakim Noah last night. Joakim Noah, legit, 6'11", 7 feet, but he ain't like some wide body. Cat is probably, his shoulders are wider than Joakim Noah's, I would bet. But Joakim Noah's a dog. Can you imagine the Knicks with Joakim Noah, prime Joakim Noah right now? Can you imagine that? We'd be hanging a banner in Madison Square Garden. All of that crap going inside Joakim would get that stuff out of here. Get me started. Andrew to go. The Raiders were lucky. Zach Gonzalez was not playing today for the Patriots. It's football, man. Players don't play, they get hurt. I mean, give the Raiders credit, dude. They won the game. They put pressure on Drake. Pino made some plays. Give him credit. The Raiders going to beat people this year. Drake may cost the Patriots. The game today with that interception. It happened. Purdy with some big late game magic. That was crazy. Yeah, it's why I am in favor of paying people. And how much you pay them is on you. But I don't pocket watch. Once a player has a contract, go play. Go perform. Because winning matters more than how much somebody makes. Who cares? I don't care. Brock Purdy looked like a playoff caliber quarterback today. Why? Because he was able to deal with adversity. Vicky says, JK for Cat. It'd be nice, wouldn't it, Vicky? Yeah. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to charm the Knicks? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to say, here's JK. You're going to flash that wonderful smile, that effervescent personality. Is that what you're going to do? Good luck, Vicky. JK for anyone. There you go. The saga continues. I thought of JK today when Cam Thomas signed his 5th-year tender, I guess. It's been a nightmare. It's been a nightmare, and it's not going to get any better because the only resolution for Jonathan Kuminga is to sign the final year tender. 2 years, $45 million, team option, give up your ability to not be traded. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Who would do that? Who would do that? You saw the Bulls raise the offer to Josh Giddey. And now it's a 4-year, $88 million offer. Jonathan Kuminga and Josh Giddey are tied at the hip. Or connected at the hip. The phrase. I think they need to move that up another 12. I think if Chicago moved it up to $100 million, 4 years guaranteed, I don't care how much money you want. It's tough to walk away from $100 million. I guess the Warriors are not going to do it. Fine. Then, they go into this season in which they really could accomplish some things with this as an issue. How's Kaminga going to show up? You know, is he going to get hurt? Is he going to contribute? Is he going to sulk on the bench? Will something happen that we are not expecting and he becomes an integral part of the Warriors organization? We don't know. This is not how you want to go into the season, though. I think he's doing the right thing by signing the one-year tender based on what's been offered. Andrew says, what was the point in the Patriots' hire of Vrabel if they were just going to look like the same thing they did as last year with Mayo? The Vrabel hire, let me say this. I think Vrabel is a good coach. I think he ultimately will turn it around. But the Patriots are not winning because they don't have a whole lot of talent. And so, I mean, you know, you can't make spinach lasagna with sausage and turkey out of peanut butter and jelly. Can't do it. It's not the same. I love peanut butter and jelly, by the way. He has to get more players. He has to instill a level of toughness in New England. I think he will do that over time, but they're just not that good right now. And Drake may show promise. I think he'll be a good player if they stick with him, but he's not a game changer right now. He's not. Why? Because you look at the players who really changed the game early on. The Josh Allens, the Lamar Jackson, the Jaden Daniels. You know, those are speed burners. Those are guys who are able to use their athleticism. Drake May is not a great athlete. Not. Slightly above average, maybe. Vicky says, give Mike a hug. Mike who? Help me out. PG, Cam Thomas just did it. Yeah, he did it yesterday, I believe. And I mean, he should. Cam Thomas was drafted, I believe, 27th overall. You know, kind of an afterthought out of the first round out of LSU. He is a 6'3" kind of scoring guy. He's not a distributor. I looked at his stats about 7 months ago. I think he averages maybe like 1.23 assists a game. Come on. You can't get paid unless you are a guy or a young lady, whomever, who can make other people better. He doesn't make anybody better. You know, is he a good player? I think he's a good player. But, I mean, he's not in a good negotiating position. Cam Thomas, if he has good people around him, they totally reconstructed how he sees the game. And if you would go out this year and show not only the Brooklyn Nets, but the entire league that he has a perspective on the game that nobody truly believes that he has. Vicky says, JK, I wonder if JK would be the 15th man on the word. He's too good. If JK signs the one-year tender, he will be Mike Brown, a hug for Cat. Yeah, you know, Mike Brown is, you talk about a company guy. Mike Brown is going to make that thing smell like roses when it smells like, you know, some cow stuff going down Highway 5 going to Southern California. You know, he's that type of guy. A wonderful smile. I think internally, he can kind of internally within the locker room, within practices, he's probably a little different than the public persona that he has. But Mike Brown's not going to rock the boat. Mike Brown's going to do the best job he can do. He's going to work with Cat. I, as a fan, as a basketball fan, as somebody who understands defense, it's just terrible. Terrible. You got to get better. Badger says, I'd give up the rest of Cat's contract for one season of LeBron. Wow. Are you serious? Now, let me ask you a question. I I'm thinking about the Lakers. And I'm saying, would they trade LeBron and DeAndre Ayton? Well, Cat, that's not out of the realm of possibility. The numbers don't work, but you could probably make it work. That's an interesting take. I've never thought of that. I think LeBron would have to be all in on the geography, but that actually is not a bad suggestion, Badger. It's actually good, one I have not thought of. Vicky says, Vicky, good to see your health is better. This is TJ. Yeah, we all feel that way. We don't even have to say anything. The fact that Vicky is espousing her wonderful wit and sports knowledge on us makes us all feel good. So thank you for echoing all of our sentiments, TG. Appreciate you. Vicky says, you will see a different team in the Garden this year. They will be tougher. I don't disagree with that. And I am waiting. I think as a Knicks fan, we are all behind Mike Brown at this point. I came out a month ago and I was in my feelings. I wanted Mark, and that wasn't going to happen. I'm excited to see what Mike Brown is going to bring to the Knicks because they have a lot of talent. And Thibodeau, who I like, I can understand why management didn't trust him, and they don't trust him to maximize the players' abilities while considering some of the health issues that they've had in terms of playing players too much. I get it. Thibodeau taken care of financially. If he wants to stay in the game, he'll find a way to do that. He says, any news on Horford or any free agent for the Warriors, hopefully? You know, again, like I said, I saw Al Horford last night at Hall of Fame meet and greet after the Florida meet and greet. And I looked at him and I didn't say anything to him. He's with his son, but I was thinking to myself that my wheels are turning. And I think he's locked into the Warriors. I think they all believe it's going to happen. You got Al Horford. You have DeAnthony Milton. I like this Warrior team. I like the Warrior team. I just wish, I wish that the J. King, the Jonathan Kuminga scenario was resolved. But they don't believe in him. Or they want to get him at a salary that they think is commensurate with his talent. I thoroughly disagree with them. I disagree with the Warriors. And this is not going to play out well for them. I don't think it is. Because the one thing about some of the Warriors' older players is that you never know when their efficiency is going to deteriorate. Sometimes it happens a lot faster than people think that it will. JK is a 22-year-old high flyer. As a coach, the onus is on you and the player to meet in the middle. If you ask me a question, who is the most at fault for Jonathan Kuminga's lack of development? The head coach or the player? I would say it's right down the middle. Right down the middle. I've seen coaches develop players. It happens all the time. Now, the Warriors would say, well, they don't get any credit for developing players. And that's not fair, you know, but they haven't developed enough. If you look at the player that you developed, Kevon Looney, and that's your shining star. Did the Warriors really develop Jordan Poole? I don't know. I don't think he was a finished product. I think they gave him a platform, an opportunity to develop, and they got to get some credit for that. But Great players can go to any organization and the world changes. They got rid of John Terry. I mean, they got rid of Jordan Poole. He wasn't working within the organization. Although some people probably thought that they would have been better off keeping him, but that would have meant that Draymond had to go. So, sounds like a missed opportunity with regards to Jonathan Kuminga to me. One of the things I wanted to get in was the Valkaries. Do you think they should rest players? They got 2 games left. They play Seattle and they play Minnesota. The idea that their seeding is going to change a whole lot, I don't think it is. I haven't looked at the numbers, but do you think that they should rest players? I would love to see players who don't get a chance to play a lot get some burn. And maybe Minnesota is on that same wavelength. I don't know what Seattle. I think Seattle might be in a position where they still have to go out and play. What was your first week analysis of the NFL in general? Are you really excited? Are there any surprises? One of the things that resonated with me is these NFL blue bloods, and I don't mean in terms of length, but I mean in terms of the most recent history. It's a year-to-year proposition. KC, I think, is, I can imagine them not being in the playoffs, but to think that they're the juggernaut that they have been over the past 5 to 7 years, I don't think so. Not because they're not good, it's because the league is more competitive. That comical moment, aesthetically, it wasn't comical when you look at the reality of it, but Kelsey running into Worthing, what was that about? I mean, how'd that happen? And the thing is, when you lodge a shoulder like that, he's gonna miss some time. He's gonna miss some time. So, KC did not play bad against San Diego. I would say they played okay. They played pretty good, but they don't have that aura of walking on the field and being up 7 points because teams are intimidated by them. No one's intimidated by KC now. They're not. They're just not. So that's going to be a slugfest. I would say the first week to me, Green Bay has been most impressive. And I'm still scratching my head. I might be behind, but Jordan Love looks good. I didn't think he was that nice. And I think the reason why is because as talented as he is, he will have the most head-scratching plays. Right? You go, why did he throw that pass? What a horrible pick. But in terms of talent, Jordan Love is talented. He's accurate. He got a strong arm. He's mobile. He's young. Think about this. Green Bay drafted him in the 20s. And no one really saw this coming. Remember when he would come in for Aaron Rodgers? And people would say, he can't read defenses. He's never going to be that guy. He's that guy. He's that guy. They got a great running game and an improved defense. He says, what's your thoughts on the Ballmer and Kawhi scandal? I think that, I'm not saying Ballmer did. People cheat. I think if the NBA can prove that there was some shadiness going on, they need to come down hard on the Clippers. Because why can't anybody do this thing? I mean, why can't anybody else do something similar? It really cuts at the integrity of the league. Now, deniability is real. It lessens the blow of the hammer that you want to bring down. I mean, to really slam Ballmer you got to catch him red-handed. And I think his ability to kind of, create a level of uncertainty is going to work in his favor, to the extent that the Clippers are probably going to sign off on some type of retribution that they have to pay, be it in draft pick, fine, whatever. But they're going to pay a cost. Doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me. These shallow companies, what are we in college? This happens. So, not shocked by it, surprised, but not shocked by it. It was funny. The softball interview. I don't know who interviewed Ballmer, in which he just flat out said, "Hey, I had nothing to do with it. I'm a victim. I got fooled." Yeah, right. Okay. We all believe that, right? So it's not about right or wrong here. It's about proving guilt. That's what I think. I think it's about proving guilt. I think these billionaire owners, you don't kind of jog your way in or just kind of lazily walk your way into a $1 billion fortune. It doesn't happen that way. You've done some deals. That's how the world works. So, what's your thought on it? I would be interested in getting your perspective on it. I think it's about proving guilt. That's what I think. Vicky says KC look like they are still recovering from the Super Bowl. San Diego is good. Your friend Larry said San Diego and the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Larry's a big time 49ers fan. And could they make it? Sure. That's not an outrageous prognostication at all. When I look at the 49ers, I look at Green Bay. Green Bay looks better to me. So I would not pick the 49ers right now to get to the Super Bowl. I think there has to be some guessing associated with that because they're not the most dominant team. San Diego, they're good. To me, they're not better than Buffalo, and they're not better than Baltimore. But they're good. Depending upon the matchups, depending upon injuries and all these other variables, could they make it to the Super Bowl? Absolutely. Could the 49ers make it? Yes. It's going to be interesting. The Clippers have never won anything. The NBA would have to get rid of the owner. That's not going to happen. Walmart is going nowhere. Walmart is the richest owner in the NBA. He ain't going nowhere. Because again, if he has to turn it into a legal matter, he will. He'll sue the NBA. He ain't going nowhere. NBA salary cap got owners finding imaginative loopholes. That's an interesting take, Keys. And I would say that this first and separate apron garbage has really hurt the league. And I would agree with you. You only got it doesn't even make a lot of sense. You limit the amount of money that you can spend that has everything to do with player salaries, and there's no limit on profits. It works because only a few owners really want to win. I don't know the number, 5, 7, maybe 10 really want to win. There's 30 teams in the NBA. That means that there are 20 other teams that are laser focused on profits. A-Rod was there last night too. And the thing about A-Rod, A-Rod kind of has a persona. Like, I was never a A-Rod fan. I marvel at his talent, his ability, his story. But, Jack walks into the area and people are asking Shaq to take a picture. It's instinctive. Shaq takes a picture, no problem, being his jovial self. A-Rod just kind of speed races his way through the crowd, has like a handler or somebody with him, doesn't stop, has his head down. I mean, I'm just like, wow. I'll be disappointed if I was a hero of A-Rod. I really would, because that moment that you have to meet your hero, I looked at some kids' faces and I could tell they were disappointed. That's my take on that. All right, so I'm gonna tell you something that was really exciting for me. You're never gonna guess. It was the chance meeting of a lifetime. I'm in my hotel, right? And I go to the restaurant. And guess who walks in yesterday? And I essentially sat there while we had lunch, and I asked him a bunch of questions. He was so gracious. I met Joey Crawford yesterday, former NBA referee. And Joey kind of has a persona of, don't talk to me, or a very serious type guy. And he could not have been more personable. And I just, I'm giddy because I love basketball. I know the officials. I admire officials because I know how hard it is to get to that level. And that was quite the experience to sit there and literally, have a 20, 30-minute conversation with Joey Crawford. It was awesome. And they were there because one of their officials, whose also name was Crawford, Danny Crawford, got inducted into the Hall of Fame. So all the officials of the NBA of his era, they were there as well. And I had a nice little conversation with Joey Crawford yesterday. And we were talking about it. I said to Joey Crawford, I said, Mr. He said, nah, I'm Joey, man. So he's a regular dude. But here's the thing. I told him, I said, you know what? I said, during your era of refereeing, the 25 years that you ref, that was probably the greatest era of NBA basketball. And he said, you know what? The only person who I really missed was Will. Now, I know he missed, he didn't officiate Bill Russell either. But think about that lineage coming in from late 70s, early 80s, all the way past the Jordan era. Kobe. I mean, everybody. Talk about a career. Incredible career. And he gave me some nuggets in terms of how he was able to ascend. And, great referee, but there's always some luck. There's always some luck. There's always a special relationship that you're able to develop, lean on, which is why, to me, I get disappointed when I see young players who don't have a perspective on everything around them. Let me tell you what I'm getting to. Angel Reese. Angel Reese got suspended for a half. That was kind of a joke. That kind of shows you where that organization is, the Chicago Sky, and the head coach. You're going to penalize her by suspending her for a half a game? What was that about? She really learned her lesson. If you want to make a statement, don't let her play. She's already thinking about not being there. Really good player. I think that she adds a lot to the WNBA. I think she brings a perspective that is different, and you need those different voices in the league. But here's the thing. What she doesn't understand is that every player in the NBA, the WNBA, you're judged based on your production to how it affects the league. When your value to the league is less than your production, they get rid of you. This is a young lady who has an opportunity to make generational wealth. All of those podcasts, all of those brand deals, why are they happening? Because of basketball. Because of basketball. That's your foundation. I don't want to see her not take full advantage of all this stuff. All these opportunities. The opportunities are just starting. And what she needs to understand is that, you know what? Your 15 rebounds, your double-doubles is really not impacting winning. I can only imagine how it is inside the locker room. You want winning players who bring a sense of joy and fun to your environment. You don't want people walking on eggshells. She's criticizing her coach, saying he's not tough enough on the players. Wait, well, hold on. You know what would happen if players were talking like that about coaches in the NBA? They get rid of you. So I'm hoping that she can learn from this situation and realize that she is on the cusp of potentially just setting the world on fire. And, you know, the antithesis of that is she can throw it all away. What's his name? Paige Cambay. You guys know the 6'8" Australian center who is essentially blackballed from the WNBA. Cambage is ridiculously talented. Will be one of the best players in the W, although she hasn't played in a couple of years. But, you know, I guess maybe she has found some other ventures to make money and stuff like that. But I don't think that she would conduct herself the same way if she had another opportunity to do things, because she's missing this joyride of the WNBA. All of the hard work has been done by former players, and now these younger players have an opportunity to take full advantage of everything, which is what I love about the league. I love to see these players taking advantage of these opportunities on the court and off the court. But there is a level of decorum and protocol that I think that you have to adhere to in professional sports. You have to. Vicky says Codge is always talking crap to the ref. Yeah, I don't like that. I do not like that at all. I kind of have an idea of how good he can be, and hopefully he will surprise me. You know, I think he can have a decent NBA career. Listening to him talk, you know, I get the sense that he feels that he can do maybe more than I think he can. I certainly don't root against Pods, but he wouldn't talk to, I mean, that's what I'm saying. He wouldn't talk to Joey Crawford like that. Joey Crawford would look at him and just tee him up. They go, listen, stop talking to me. I'm going to run you out of here. That's old school NBA. You know, not a lot. Only players who got a chance to talk were the real stars. I don't know if it was right or wrong, but that's how it was. The stars got a chance to talk, but a guy just trying to have a career, no, that wasn't happening. Another moment that I had at the NBA Hall of Fame ceremonies was got a chance to meet and take a picture with Swin Cash. And big time Swin Cash fan, UConn fame. She's won 3 or 4 titles in the WNBA. And most recently, she was a high-level executive with the New Orleans Pelicans. And that went away when Joe Dumars took over the management responsibilities for New Orleans. I told her, I was like, I really followed your career, and I hope that you get another opportunity. He was like, well, we'll see. But she conducted a camp for kids this weekend, and she was just spot on, really highlighting all of the attributes that college coaches look for, what the NBA looks for, what the WNBA looks for. She was outstanding, and just the most beautiful smile. Had a great time talking to her. I finally have some pictures. I don't really do social media, but I have an Instagram account. I guess at some point I'll put some of these pictures up that I could. So that was a highlight of mine. Meeting and taking a picture with Smith Pass. Yo, Baragon. Hey, Frank, how are you doing? What you think about the Raiders versus the Patriots earlier? I am doing fantastic now. Locked tight in the dungeon. I was impressed with the Raiders, but I'm generally impressed with Pete Carroll. And I root for Geno Smith. And I just think that the Raiders needed structure. They needed adults in the room. And they have that now. So good for the Raiders. I don't call them by the city that they're in. I refuse to do that. I am a long time Oakland Raider supporter. I covered the team for over 10 years. They've always treated me real well. There's no better fan base in the NFL than the Oakland fan base. So I'm still kind of melancholy about what transpired that led them out of the city. But from the NFL perspective, because it's such a global brand, I kind of get it with the Raiders, because literally they went from searching for nickels in their pockets, to make the whole thing work, to all of a sudden the Raiders being one of the most valued franchises in the NFL. Even somebody like myself who supports Oakland having a team, from a business perspective, I get it. And football is the type of event-oriented sport that if you're in another city and you want to support your team, you could jump on a plane for an hour and a half, go to Vegas, enjoy the weekend, and watch your team. Not the worst thing in the world. They just needed to actually get it done on the field. And I think Pete Carroll, I don't know how long he's going to be there. He's 73. But I think that hiring him was a strong step in the right direction. Drafting Gentry, I thought, was smart, and bringing Geno Smith in was smart. So the most impressive thing about the Raiders in New England was the fact that the Raiders beat them on the road. That was a game that I'm sure New England thought that they could get. And the Raiders traveled, 5-6 hours in the plane and got a win. You got to give them credit for that. No doubt. On the 49ers, I want to highlight D. Winters. D. Winters was flying around, looking real good. That has to be encouraging for the 49ers. Also, there was a lot of talk about McCaffrey's calf and how productive he was going to be, and was he going to play? Not. He was balling today, running the ball, certainly in the passing game. So that was a positive sign. I don't know the extent. Maybe you guys have heard. I don't know the extent of Kittle and Jawan being out. Is that temporary? It's going to be longer? I don't know. That's something that I'll be researching over the next couple of days to figure that out. Last thing I'm going to say about the Hall of Fame. At the kind of Billy Donovan after party, right? It was held at a location. And I just kind of sat back. I'm talking to guys have been friends with since high school, and we're chopping it up and having conversations. And Bill's walking around, and he and I are talking. Listen, every coach that matters was there. I mean, the level of reverence that they have. I mean, all the coaches that he's given opportunities to, all the players that have played in the NBA. I mean, just count. I'm not gonna name everybody, but everybody was there. It was just amazing to just see the appreciation that they have for him, and that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool because we don't have a celebrity friendship. We don't. So we got a real friendship. So I'm happy for him and his family. It was great. I'm glad that I did it. Was able to scratch that off my bucket list. And I just keep thinking about the next great Hall of Fame experience. I want to highlight Melo too. I thought Carmelo was excellent. You could tell that he had a lot to do with his speech. Probably wrote the whole thing himself because it sounds so mellow. It sounds just like Melo. And I thought he was honest. I thought he was authentic. And yeah, I mean, no, he won the title. He won one at Syracuse. Leading a team to a national championship as a freshman is no small feat. Being literally one of the greatest players to ever represent the United States in the Olympics and international play is no small feat. That was incredible. So I think Melo can look back on his career and see some bumps in the road, but overall he has to feel good about what he was able to accomplish because in many respects he was kind of like living out this dream on his own, learning on the spot, which is really difficult to do. So I want to big him up. All right. I have not slept a lot, but that's okay. This opportunity to talk to you and engage has really been uplifting to me. Hit the like button, subscribe to the show, and yeah, thank you for inspiring me to do what I do. I would probably still do it because I like to do it. It's fun to get my takes out there, but to engage in conversation makes it even better. So I want to thank you for that. All right, I'm gonna break down and I'm gonna get out of here and get ready for the week. Want to show some sensitivity to you all out there as well. It's getting a little late. I know you got things to do. And I want to say thank you for joining me on In the Dungeon Show. My name is Frank Red. If you're listening for the first time, again, hit the like button, subscribe to the show. It certainly helps. And it's interesting because I hear people sometimes they say, you know what? When I looked at the data, so many more people are listening to the show than actually subscribing to it. It takes effort to put these shows together. It really does. It takes a lot of time, and at least from my perspective, it'll make things better for me if I could see that we are moving in a certain direction. It feels good. I know it feels good, which is the most important thing. But move the show forward is also very beneficial to me and to our listenership. Vicky says, thanks, Frank. Love the show. I appreciate you. Thank you, Vicky, for chiming in. Well, do my thing and get out of here. Success in getting paid is a manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. Everybody go out and have a great week. Good first week of the NFL. The Valkaries take on Seattle Storm on Tuesday. Lock in for that. And I look forward to talking to you down the road. All right? Peace. Good night, everybody.